Hey everyone, this is Demari and you're watching the Lightwork Tarot reading for the sign of Pisces. Now, I'm really excited to do this read for you because I know that the shadow work read was pretty full on. It dealt with some very intense themes. If you haven't watched that, you can check that out on the shadow work playlist or under your Pisces tarot readings list. Just be warned, it does deal with some of the heavy aspects of mental health. So if that's something you feel like is going to trigger you and you're not really ready to hear right now, maybe don't watch it at this current time. But if you feel like it's important that you do, then feel free. So I'm hoping going into this light work reading with you that this energy is going to be much lighter and happier, and really will help you with this transformation that you're going in. So here's to positive vibes, right? So to begin with, I'm going to be pulling from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. And the reason for this is because it's particularly good for doing light work readings in regards to discovering your soul mission, what your own spirit is trying to communicate with you, so that you know that you're heading in the right path that's aligned with your soul work here on earth and just your general core principles, right? So depending on which aspect of your birth chart that you're reading this from, it's going to resonate on a different level. So if you're watching it in terms of your sun sign, then you're really going to feel this on a profound spiritual level, like, it's going to resonate within your heart center. If you're watching this from your moon sign, then it's more likely it's going to resonate in terms of your intuition, what you feel is to be right, so something that you want to get behind in a supportive way, or that you want to in some way embody in your own life, like those kind of energies. Or if it resonates with your rising sign, then it's more in terms of a source of inspiration, that this will inspire your path in some way moving forward. So let's get stuck in then. Let's see what the first card has to offer. So to begin with, I'll be pulling a card that tells you what you're leaving behind, right? So the things that don't serve your purpose that you are now leaving behind you. Okay. So where are you being called to journey to in Rama? Okay. So in regards to that, that's really calling you to visit a place that you have a very strong spiritual connection to. They can be ruins, they can be ancient sites. There's usually a lot of history surrounding these places and a lot of energies. So it can be that you're being called to leave behind a particular circumstance right now. You may be being asked to leave your current environment and move towards one that is more aligned to your vision and that's more aligned to your path. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's been some place you've been seeing online, whether it's on travel blogs or just generally in photography, where you've seen pictures of a particular place that really has resonated with you for some reason. You can't explain why, but you just feel compelled to go there more than usual, right? Even if you're an avid traveler or someone who enjoys exploring new places, this particular place will be calling to you on a much deeper, more profound level. And I feel like that's going to be relevant, maybe not to all of you, but to a significant portion of you. I think for the others, it's more a case of leaving a place or a situation behind that isn't aligned to where you're headed. Okay, so just to give you some clarity on that. I could get the booklet and read that for you, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So now I want to pull the card in terms of what your spirit is guiding you towards, right? Like what is aligned with your soul mission. So what do we have for Pisces? Okay. So you have trust your path. If you knew you would be supported what would you do? Okay, so I feel like you already have an indication as to what your path is. You may already feel like you're being guided towards a particular thing. It could be that there's some aspect of your current work that's leading you further down this path, which feels more it feels more directional. You feel like it's more aligned to what you really want in life, and I feel like it's a case of telling you that there's no need to hold back. The sky's the limit. Your expectations shouldn't be reduced based on whatever you've been told, or circumstances that you grew up in, or any other limitations that people try to tell you exist, right? That only you're only limited by your imagination. What you can conceive of in your mind, you can obtain, right? So that's what it's telling you, that if you knew that you were being, divinely guided and supported, what would you do? Like, if literally the sky was the limit, what would you do? So that's something worth thinking about, especially in relation to this. I feel like if you venture into this new space and you're in an environment where you feel very much like you're being supported, like there's some energy there that's really nurturing and transformative, or you're just in a place that's much lighter and that gives you the space and freedom to operate in a much on a much higher level, then that will help you to realize as well what it is that you truly want to accomplish, right? Because I feel like, as I said, you're already on this path, so it's more of a case of really thinking about your environment, where would be best for you at this time in order to bring out those higher aspects of yourself, to really tap into your creativity, into your knowing, your intuition, your inner wisdom, to your divine connection as well. So it's definitely worth thinking about, because you're already moving along the path. You're already being guided and pulled towards something. So just have a little think about what that could be. So now I just want to pull some cards from the Wild Unknown Tarot deck to really get a more detailed analysis of what's going on here. Of course, whether or not this resonates really depends on your circumstances and your individual path. But this should resonate for some of you, if not a majority of you, in some way. Again, take it as it applies. If it doesn't apply, that's fine. This is not your read, so don't worry. So yeah, I'm just going to pull the first 3 cards, and these will be in relation to the thoughts, feelings, behaviours, circumstances, and the types of individuals that you'll be leaving behind, right, in order to be more aligned with this path. So what you're just coming away from, where you are right now in your journey within this, and where you're heading moving forward. So more like your recent past, your present, and your near future. Okay. So let's just have a look. What was in the near past for Pisces, or recent past, sorry, for Pisces? It doesn't have to be negative either, by the way, but just, obviously it's in the past for a reason. Like it's no longer necessary for your purpose. So I just want to see what you're kind of just recently been dealing with. I mean, I know in terms of the shadow aspects for some of you, but I just want to see, where you're coming from right now. Okay, so Temperance in reverse. So that's really a case of, I feel like you're aware that this current environment that you're in isn't really serving you, which is why you've already made the decision not to wait. You've already made the decision not to stay, either in the physical place that you're in, or the mental, emotional place that you're in. It can be a circumstance as well. It doesn't have to just be an actual environment. But, you know, as I said, take it as it applies. But I feel like you've already made the decision not to stay. So if it's connected to the shadow work reading, I feel like for some of you, you've made the decision to take a different course of action to really get a better feeling of control over your life and your emotions and your, cognitive processes. So you don't feel like your brain is kind of just ruling you, rather you have some control over some aspects of your thoughts, or rather that it doesn't dominate you in the way that it has, that you can just kind of allow thoughts to come and go and they not have such a strong emotional impact as they were until now, up until very recently. Yeah. The Death card just flicked out, so it's definitely the end of this circumstance, this situation that you're in, whatever way it applies. So you're already making the decision to come out of that. So that's already happened. You've already made that decision. So where are you at now? What's going on with you currently, Pisces? Two cards there. Take the top one. So you have Three of Cups in reverse. So I feel like, yeah, you're kind of doing some soul-searching right now. And because of that, you've not really been the life and soul of the party that you may have been. For example, you may not be an extrovert, but you may not be spending... you usually probably spend some time with some significant close ones, some close friends, family members, partners, but you're no longer doing that because you're really thinking about what's going to best serve you in this journey from coming out of a situation that's really not serving you into a life that's far more aligned, that makes you feel fulfilled and complete rather than broken and depleted. So I feel like, yeah, now's not really, you don't really feel like being around large groups of people. Maybe you don't mind spending time with, your very closest friends and family members, so you can really do this processing and healing and discuss what your thoughts are. But you're going to be on the move. So maybe that's what you're keeping this close to your chest. You're only telling very few people, those closest to you, what your plans are, right? But you're heading off, you're going. I feel like you are actually, for many of you, you will be physically either relocating or you're being called to visit somewhere, right? And you're only telling very few people about this. You're just going to go and do it, okay? So where are you heading to in your near future? What is coming up on the horizon for you in your near future? Yeah, so you've got the Eight of Swords. So you're really just, you're done with having these conflicts of interest. You're done with the things that no longer serve you. You're not willing to continue with old ways of operating. So you're really going on this journey to go inward, right? As much as you're going outward, you're going out in the world to visit somewhere, it really is an inner journey for you. So that's why you're just you're keeping it very close to the chest, because it's very personal. And, obviously, as I said, for those of you that saw the shadow work reading and it resonated, I mean, you're dealing with a whole host of things, really deep aspects of the shadow. So, of course, you need that space to retreat and just do the work in for yourself. So it makes perfect sense that you're not going to be broadcasting this information. You're not going to be wanting to go out and be around lots of people right now, because you're you're kind of going into an incubation period so that you can heal your wounds and grow and, you know, relearn all the things that you felt like you should have known growing up, and what would have been really helpful for you in your adult life as well. So let's just go into the next stage of this reading. So now what I want to pull, okay, this card already. What I'm pulling is the card that represents the message for the unity of spirit, right? So what I mean by spirit, I mean self, unity of self. So what I mean by that is how you can take your light and shadow aspects and really bring them into harmony, because as much as we see them as two aspects of ourselves that are in opposition and warring for, you know, the spotlight, they're actually two of the same, right? They're both just polar aspects of the same scale, okay? So when you can bring them in to work in harmony with each other rather than in opposition, that's when we're operating from our highest self, okay? So this is what it really deals with, how to do that. So you got the Mother of Wands in the upright. Again, I feel like the incubation period, the really sort of hermetic kind of hermit energy that you're going into, will really help with this transformation, and that it will allow you to have the space to do the healing. It will give you, it will allow those energies to come in and do its work also. Because I feel like you have to be kind of a mother to yourself right now, if that makes sense. Like you're having to give yourself that motherly tenderness right now. So you're going to have to kind of be a little bit selfish, you know, even though of course that's not selfish at all, but you have to kind of think of your own well-being right now. So that's where you're going off and, you know, really connecting with this place that gives you that healing energy and that helps you to ground yourself and, you know, really get to the root of everything that's been going on, and just to be able to see things more clearly again and not while you're in the thick of the situation. So I feel like, yeah, the best way to do that is when you do go off on your travels and, you know, you just kind of not worry so much about, you know, connecting with others, but more on just your connection with this specific place, with this space that you're going to be operating in. So next I want to just pull the card, which is a message for unifying with others, right? So once you've done that work, how you can then connect with others who may be going down a similar path. Okay, so you've got the Son of Swords in reverse. So I feel like rather than just communicating your ideas, I feel like you have to lead by example. That by doing the work yourself, and really focusing on that, and maybe just sharing your experience of that it will really serve as an inspiration to others. So you may find that you get into video blogging your journey and certain aspects of it, the parts that you're willing to share, and so you can really touch people on that level, you know, with being really sincere and letting them know that there is a way through these trials. It could be that, you know, you're writing a blog, so almost like a journal that you share with others, you know, who are going to be on this journey as well. There's various ways in which you can do it, but I feel like it's more that rather than, you know, being in a position where you're kind of public speaking or anything like that, I feel like it's more that you're just going to be sharing your journey and that you will inspire others that way. So those that are dealing with the same issues that you had, you know, they're going to be inspired by that, and they'll then use that as an incentive, as inspiration to change their circumstances. And I just flipped that, you know, Ten of Swords in reverse. So by ending your own cycle and beginning this journey, you'll inspire others to do the same by leading as an example, right? Being a real life example for that work. Okay, so that's nice. That's really interesting. I think that's definitely a great way to go about it, because that not only helps others, but it helps with your own healing as well. I think that gives you strength when you can see like how much you're helping others as well. So yeah, that's a really beautiful energy. So let's go into the overall energy for this read. So what is the overall energy in regards to this? Oh, we have two cards coming up. Take the top. So you've got the Ace of Cups in reverse. So I feel like, yeah, that this really is quite a powerful transformation that you're going through, that you're having one of the strongest purges out of all the signs right now. So that it's necessary in order to be able to really begin this inner work. And even though it has been really tough for you, there's been a lot to contend with, it's going to serve you in the long run. Like, you're going to be such a shining example of endurance and strength and overcoming all obstacles, that you're going to be a huge source of inspiration for others, because they will see that, yes, you know, we're human, we have weaknesses, we have hardships, you know, but we're also very resilient, we're very strong, we can be very determined, we can overcome all sorts of obstacles through our discipline and our focus and our drive, right? And I feel like you're really going to be an example for that, and your story will really touch people on an emotional level, and that's where you'll get your support, because they'll really respect you and admire you for being so honest and you know, just kind of laying your soul bare with it. So I think that, again, that's a really beautiful energy. I don't know if that's just the Cancerian in me that really admires that, but I genuinely believe that that's a really beautiful way to approach it, for sure. So now I just want to clarify these cards quickly, because you can always get a bit more information, right? And I know these particular videos, like both the light work and the shadow work videos, are very long videos, so I hope they don't, you know, you don't find that boring or irritating. But I think it's important for these kinds of reads that you get as much information as possible. With the general ones, they'll be much shorter, probably half the time, if that. So if you don't prefer these longer ones, then you can tune into the shorter ones that are coming up very soon. So let's just clarify first of all this Temperance card in reverse. Okay, straight away. Actually got 3 cards for you, I'm just going to take all of them. So you've got 5 of Cups in the upright, the Chariot, and 2 of Swords in reverse. So I feel like where this is concerned, that, yeah, you're leaving behind some very toxic circumstances, and that's why you feel compelled to move forward and to get out of that situation, because it was never going to lead to anything positive or anything stable or allow you to really come into your own power, right? That's what I feel like. I feel like it just was draining you and leading you further down the spiral towards despair, you know, and that's why you're having to leave that behind, and that's why you're taking action now, because you know that there is nowhere to go from that other than down the downward spiral, yeah. So that's why it's like, okay, I'm done. Like, this is not going to be the legacy of my life. This is not how I'm going to be remembered, right? So that's why you've kind of really made that decision now quite firmly in your mind. So now you're thinking about how do I do that? Where is it I need to be right now? So let's clarify the Three of Cups in reverse. Yeah, I just put those cards back just because, you know, space and everything. There's quite a few there. I only wanted one, but all three wanted to come up and it was relevant, so I just took it. So, yeah. What is this Three of Cups telling us about where Pisces is currently at? Okay. So you've got the Nine of Cups in reverse. So even though obviously, as I said, you've been contending with a lot, I feel like your concerns and your anxieties are just below the surface, and people will easily see that, and that's why you're choosing not to, you know, participate in any group events, you know, parties, you know, things like that. Anything that's going to involve a lot of people, you're just not doing it because you know that you're in a very delicate position right now, and you know all it takes is someone to press the wrong button or ask the wrong questions, and it's going to provoke a very strong emotional response. So that's why you're making the smart choice by just, you know, not putting yourself in that circumstance and just only really communicating with those closest to you. Yeah, you know, just came up with the Knights of Wands in reverse. So you're really just, you know, making a wise decision not to remove yourself from those circumstances, to not actively be going out or be around people in that context. Even if your friends are just like, what the hell, why aren't you coming out, or why aren't you doing this, or whatever, you're just like, no, sorry, I can't, I need this space, I need this time for myself. Which is fine, and you're within your rights to do that, you know. Anyone that gives you grief for that is not welcome, right? And they should not be in your life, because, you know, they need to respect the fact that everyone's got their own things to contend with. Everyone's got their, you know, no, I wouldn't say, I don't like the word problems. I would say everyone's got just things they need to work through, yeah? So you're entitled to take the space whenever you need to, right? That's your right as a sovereign being. You have the right to choose how you, and, you know, where you allocate your energy, right? So let's have a look at the Eight of Swords. Sorry, I just have so much information in my brain when I'm doing these reads. So it's like everything's trying to come out all at once, so I just get tongue-tied. So let's clarify the Eight of Swords. Okay, and you've got the Page of Wands in the upright. So I feel like for this, that is what's going to allow you to really start taking affirmative action, right? By going into this incubation period where you really just go deep within and just really take one problem at a time and just, you know, look at it more objectively and just, you know, find the best methods for healing, you know, in this new environment. That's what's going to give you the opportunity to share all this you're learning with others. I feel like that's what's really going to help you to, you know, really be objective about the situation, but you have to also be very patient with yourself as well, because you are dealing with a lot And you know, it will take time, so you just have to give it the time it requires. But I feel like you will be starting this journey very soon, though, in terms of like sharing all that you're learning and discovering about yourself and your path with others. You know, you'll start that probably very much in tandem as you go along, you know. So that's why I feel like, you know, with the travel as well, that you might go into either video blogging, you know, photojournalism in that way, or, you know, like blogging, writing. So I just want to clarify now the Mother of Wands, how you can best unify the two aspects of self. Okay, so this is the King of Wands in reverse. I feel like you have to not allow yourself to be led by those who you feel like have more authority than you in your life. There may be like, you know, a father figure or some kind of male that's been kind of telling you what to do and how to go about things, just because, you know, he's quite successful in life, or he's got you know, his life seems to be made, so he's telling you what you need to do to make your life perfect. And I feel like he's not necessarily been giving you the right advice. So I feel like, you know, your intuition is right. You need to go within and find your own answers, because he doesn't have all the facts. And I feel like this person hasn't been through what you've been through. So it's very easy for him to judge it, you know, on a surface level, but he doesn't have the knowledge to really empathize with what you've been going through. It might not be a male, just because it's a King of Wands doesn't mean that it's necessarily a male, but I feel like it could very well be a male in your life. It could be, you know, a parent of any kind, or like a grandparent. But I just feel like there's someone in your life that's kind of been trying to tell you what to do, and you feel like it's not resonating with you, and that's because they don't understand fully your situation. They haven't been there, so they're not really in the best position to give you advice. But, you know, you're going to come into your own anyway. You know what you need to do. So you've already made the decision. So you're just going to go ahead and really just take care of yourself, you know, for a while. Because I feel like you've been worried about how this has been affecting those closest to you. But now you're going to really take the time to consider your own well-being, which is very important. So let's have a look then at the Son of Swords in reverse, which is the Knight of Swords in reverse. I'll try and clarify that. Oops, something wanted to come out there. Okay, so that's how you're going to connect with others, right? And then you've got the Two of Pentacles in the upright. So yeah, I feel like you are going to lead by example. You're going to be a source of inspiration. That your story will serve as an example of how to overcome these odds, all right? And I feel like that you will meet like minds. Like there will be someone that will reach out to you that's like, hey, like I've read your book, or I've been following your blog, or your YouTube channel, or whatever it is. You know, the work you're doing is amazing. Like, I can't believe you've been through all this. I've been going through this myself. These aspects, you know, I really love what you're doing. Keep it up, you know. I think you're going to get that kind of support from people, but I feel like there's going to be maybe a particular person that it really resonates with, and you're going to form like a really strong partnership or friendship from that. But it's just going to really touch someone on quite a profound level, and I think that they're going to reach out to you, which is amazing. That's really nice, right? If you can like really reach someone in such a deep way, you know, I think that's really amazing. So, just to clarify the Ace of Cups finally. Oops. And we have the Three of Wands in the upright. Perfect. So that's what I was saying, that this is kind of this purging that you're going through and these changes and this decision is all part of aligning you towards your true north, right? Towards being your most centered and balanced self. And through that, you'll have the opportunity to really change your life on all aspects. I think in mind, body, and spirit, you're going to feel very differently in the near future. Particularly in the next few years, I think you're really going to see the difference, and people are not going to recognize you. You know, they're going to be amazed at how far you've come and where you're headed, because I think that you're going to gain a lot of support because of the work that you'll be doing and the message you'll be sharing, just by telling your story. And that's what I feel like you'll be the storyteller. This is the energy I'm getting from this. You will be the storyteller, and it will come from a place of knowing and having experienced it and overcome those trials and tribulations, right? So that's incredible. Like, if that's not an incentive to move forward, I don't know what is. Because, you know, you're going to have a life that you never thought would be possible, right? That you're really going to change everything if you carry on down this path, you know? Don't let the advice of others sway you from where you're headed, because you know where you're going, you know what's going to serve you. You know that this work is absolutely needed for yourself, and it's going to be very inspirational and influential to others. So you just got to keep moving forward. Alright, so there you go, Pisces. What an amazing way to turn around the situation. I hope you found this really useful. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments. If it did resonate with you, do give it the thumbs up, and do subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell next to it so you're actually informed whenever a video goes up for you. And yeah, I look forward to doing your general reads very soon, so take care.